Welcome to this new episode From Fear to Faith. I'm Gunilla Henriksson.
Hello, I am Doris Bell.
I'm curious, Doris, what do you want to share about From Fear to Faith regarding relationships?
Yeah, Gunilla, we agreed that today we want to speak about relationships and the way of addressing fears and turning fear into faith. So, in relationships, we would probably all agree that we have several options. If we don't feel happy in a relationship, we can just stay and continue and cope with the situation, depending how much it is affecting our well-being, our mindset, whatever. It feels comfortable or we are suffering. So staying is one way. There's also the way of leaving the relationship. And that might be more challenging because there might be fear around it. For example, if you are financially bound to your partner, you might be afraid of leaving him or her because what will happen with your financial situation, how to pay the rent. Maybe there are children that you have to take care of, or there are children that you are afraid you will not see again if you leave the partnership. There is probably a lot of fear around leaving a partnership. We have had the one or other situation, and we know from clients that there is a lot of fear around leaving a partnership, but it can also be a great relief getting out of the partnership. Many people do not realize there is a third way, and that third way is working on the relationship. That could be that each partner individually does some work in therapy or coaching, or it can be a couple event, a couple therapy, mentorship. There are a lot of different options available. Gunilla, you could come up with a list of questions to evaluate the situation. Where am I in a relationship? I'd like to share that.
I thought about it if I was going to talk to my younger self, my 20-year-old self, and I will ask her, do you feel calm and relaxed in this relationship? Do you lie to yourself that you're actually more happy in the relationship than you are? Are you suffering? Do you feel unhappy a lot of times? Do you have fun together? Can you have deep conversations and talk about everything? Do you make yourself smaller? Start pleasing the other person, your partner, to feel that you are loved? Do you stop yourself for shining and really being the one you're supposed to be because you notice that you trigger your partner? That's a warning sign because you're not supposed to make yourself smaller. You're both supposed to be in your power and inspire each other. That's what I think. And let's see if I had some more. Yeah, that's some of the things that, I mean, do you tell the truth? Are you authentic to yourself and to the other person?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the same thing about pleasing the other person, but being authentic, and can you take that the other person maybe get triggered, don't like it, but you're still standing up for yourself. And I know a lot of times if you're into this pleasing mood, it's coming from your childhood. If your parents maybe didn't put a lot of attention on you if you weren't a good girl or a good boy. And then you start thinking that you need to please everybody, otherwise they won't love you. But then you maybe need to go to some coach or therapy to start valuing yourself again, to understand that you are worth to follow your heart and to be the one you are.
Mm. Yeah, your list. I might add another aspect, and this is, do you feel like being an adult on a peer level? Or because I know from many relationships that can be temporary, then it's okay, but it should not be the general way of living the relationship, that it is like mother and son.
Mm.
Yeah, so many mean they have the same attitude as they had in their family with their mother, so that they take the love of the woman for granted. They take a lot of their work, like the homework, for granted. It's also emotional. The emotional aspect is more like a boy and mother relationship, instead of really loving the woman, so being a man, loving the woman as a woman and teasing the woman. Yeah, that I know from many relationships. This is also a question that you can assess. If I have clients like this, I recommend to work on it, because this is very often triggered by early childhood. So you would probably work on your inner child. I trust that this relationship can hold if the partners, in this case, the husband, works on his inner child. He can change his behavior and attitude towards the woman. And of course, we have the other situation likewise, that it's the girl and the daddy
Exactly.
instead of the.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I just want to add here that what I've seen also when I've coached couples, a lot of couples maybe have been together for 10, 20 years, but they never really know each other. They don't have these deep conversations and they haven't hold space for each other. And it's amazing, how during the coaching they suddenly start to see each other heart by heart.
Yeah.
And I have had them crying because it's so new for them. So this deep conversation or being together also in silence, but being present with each other.
Yeah.
You don't always need to say so much. And a lot of people have this fear of being present with each other, because if you're just in your heart and you are present, it can be very, very scary. For me, when I was younger, I got panic. I mean, now I worked a lot with myself and now I love being present with other people. But that's also, I see it's so, so important in relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. Over time, people change, people grow. And then it's also important that both partners work on their personal development. So if only one person grows and the other stagnates, then they outgrow each other. Then I think it will be difficult to keep a good relationship, also to keep this level of conversation, the quality. And yeah, so that is also important, and but it's not impossible. Yeah.
And I mean, actually, it's not only loving relationships, it's also with friendship. If you grow and the other person, then automatically you're not on the same level and maybe you don't have anything together to share.
Yeah. Although I would say in a friendship relationship, it is easier to accept that we have developed in different directions, for
Yes.
example, and that we break. We can break in friendship, but maybe we don't have a lot in common anymore, other than sharing memories. But of course, in marriage, in a couple relationship, the impact of leaving, of separating is much bigger. But I think it's only possible if both accept that they have less in common than before. And it works only if both see that they want to grow, maybe to close the gap again. So I think you can't force the person who is left behind.
No.
You can't force him or her.
No.
So it must be the internal desire, the internal call coming from that person.
Exactly.
But then I think it is possible. So what I experience, for example, in my own relationship, we are now married for over 20 years. We stimulate each other with new thoughts and we share new experiences. So whenever I have a new mentor, for example, I share some of these ideas with my husband. And I'm also curious what he is doing. He's like an IT nerd, and I don't understand what he is doing, but I appreciate that he is deep diving into details. So I try not to show interest. Yeah, yes, of course, then I show it, but it's my honest feeling that I am interested what he is doing.
Yes.
Not as a control freak. Yeah, what the fuck is he doing? But what is it that he is spending so much time and why does he love this? It is challenging. It stimulates his mind. And also the opposite, if I watch that he is doing some strange things or if he is spending time with things that I cannot understand, I ask him, so why are you watching, for example, these movies, or what is your feeling about it? So I want to stay curious. This is a recipe for a good relationship. It's my truth, yeah. But staying curious and interested in each other is quite helpful.
Definitely, because then the other person sees that you have interest to see them, listen to them, and be seen.
Yeah. And I mean, we all have very busy lives, so we don't spend so much time usually with our partner or with our family. But there is this so-called quality time. So you can assign a certain amount of time for your partner or with friends or with your children. And then the absolute amount of minutes or hours is not as important as the depth and seriosity that you apply to it.
Yeah, you can be together for hours, but it's no quality time together for 5 minutes, and it's very deep and intense.
If you have no distraction, then this is very helpful, which means the television should not be on. So sometimes we have discussions and then we realize if it starts in a movie, so we just stop the movie and focus on our discussion. As you said, being honest and then realizing that this discussion now will have priority. And these are all means of working on a relationship so that you can always feel safe and respected so that you don't have to leave.
Yeah, and I actually want to add one thing also that is important. That is that both of you are taking care of yourself, taking time for yourself regarding your interest to get centered, both mentally, physically, take care of yourself, because that's also important in a relationship, that then you meet and you are both more in your power and your energy, and yeah, you take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And you also need to feel secure in yourself. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned this, be authentic. And I think that is only possible if you, in principle, could also live on your own.
Yeah.
So you are not in the relationship because you need it.
Yes.
So there are a lot of unhealthy relationships. I had a client recently who was in his second or third of this kind of relationships where he felt emotionally relying on his partner, that she was giving love to him, and he had so strong affections that he put everything into this relationship. But then, I think it was the third wife, she left him. So she could not stand it, because if he was putting everything into this relationship, because he did not feel safe and authentic in himself, he needed the relationship to have the identity. So this is, I heard it several times. In this poor man, it was for the third time. And he was in a therapy just to get this information planted, that he needs to feel confident in himself, but without guidance. So that was the discussion, whether we should go deeper. If he's still so emotionally dependent, he really needs to see a psychologist. I mean, I refuse to take him any longer, because you never know how people act then if they are in such a difficult emotional situation. For me, as a professional, I decided not to continue in this case. But for other people, it could be helpful. And if he finds a good therapist, he could get back to a normal life, hopefully. I'm now ending with the worst case. In these cases, the women did the only right thing, that they said they have to stop the relationship. For all the women, if you experience such a relationship, then this is really unhealthy. And then you cannot hope that the partner changes. Because in these cases, you need to leave. You should not stay any longer if there is such a strong power and manipulation in it. So then I think it's really difficult to say you should work on the relationship.
Sometimes you definitely shouldn't.
So we had all the three options today, but there are definitely situations, especially then for the woman, where you have to say no. And that could be with physical things, like being beaten. I had a friend, I helped her to get out of a relationship where the man threatened her with a knife. So then you have to leave immediately.
There are situations that you definitely doesn't help to have constant.
And then you just have to have this faith, everything will settle. So you should not stay in such a relationship.
No.
So
What I suggest in that sort of situation is really important to get some kind of support.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there are enough places where you just can go, even without giving your name, if this is something important. If it's a small town, you maybe don't want to be known.
No.
Yes, so
exactly.
definitely this is not a situation where you can say, yeah, my partner will change and
No,
we will work on
exactly.
the relationship.
No.
I think we agree. We all know this kind of situations.
Sometimes you need to listen to the fear. Really, it's to take you out of a bad relationship. It can be dangerous.
So, Gunilla, I think your questions were like a checklist. And if you agree, we will put them under the podcast list, because I really think that could be helpful for of our followers.
And I also want to add that I've coached so many women, men, and also couples with different relationships issues, and I've seen fantastic transformations in them. I just want to, if this aligns with you, I'm here, and we'll put the link under. You're also coaching a lot of clients, so we are both here if it resonates with you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for today. Very insightful.
Yeah.
discussion.
Yes, me too. Thank you, Doris.
So, bye bye.
Bye.